Good morning, students. This is our revision videos for your term 1 examination, as your term 1 examination is going to start from 17. So now whatever video will be for SST, it will be your revision purposes. So when we say that revision, so first of all it is very necessary to understand that how you all people have to do the revision for the different stream of social studies. That revision means is not only that you will learn the question answer which is given to you as your homework or whatever notes we have prepared for each and every subject. Revision means that you must require open the NCERT book. You have to go through with the entire chapter headings, so that the question which will be framed from the middle of the section of any page of the given syllabus, you will be able to answer them in your own language. So I am giving you the idea, and we are starting the first chapter, the rise of nationalism in Europe. It is your first chapter for term 1 examination for class 10th of history. So that how you have to revise the things for examination purpose. One side you have to open your notebook of history, and second you have to open your NCERT history book. That the when we say the starting of nationalism in Europe, then the first thing that you have to connect the revolution, the French Revolution, with the title of the chapter, which is the rise of nationalism in Europe. So in Europe, how the nationalism spirit is spread, the first event is the French Revolution. And when the French Revolution started, you have studied it in detail in the ninth class also. So it is the beginning of the revolution and the rise of revolution in all the other European nations. So when we say French Revolution, how it spread the idea of the nation, that the first clear expression of nationalism came up with the French Revolution in 1789. France, as you would remember, was full-fledged territorial state in 1789 and under the rule of absolute monarch. As you know that the 1789, the France was under the absolute monarchy system, and the Louis XVI was the king of France. And you know that he was only 20 years old when he was ascended to the throne, and how the treasure was an empty during his rulership, and how he imposed the heavy taxes on the third state people to overcome from this economic depression, economic poor situation. So now that the French Revolution is very necessary to get the idea that what is a significant event which started the social nationalism in Europe. So you have to read the entire thing. Now another thing that when we study the French Revolution, that now the making of nationalism in Europe, that what do you know, today as Germany, Italy and Switzerland were divided into kingdoms, duchies and cantons, whose rulers had their autonomous territories. Eastern and the Central Europe were under autocratic monarchies, within the territories of which lived diverse people. They did not see themselves as sharing a collective identity or a common culture. That it was all about that during the French Revolution, how the other state of the Europe see themselves as a different community. They were not having the common identification and a collective identity, so they are different in their culture, their identification. So there was a need to just join them with the feeling of one nation state. Often they even spoke different languages and belonged to different ethnic groups. The Habsburg Empire that ruled over Austria Hungary, for example, was a patchwork of many different regions and peoples. It included the Alpine region and Tyrol, Austria, and the Studland, as well as the Bohemia, where the aristocracy was predominantly German speaking. So this was all about the ethnic culture of the European nation, with the starting of French Revolution in France. That other part was also lagging behind the feeling of nationalism, but slowly and gradually they just come up with the idea. The common people charged up with the idea of revolution or the nationalism. So in this way, it is all about the next important heading, that the aristocracy and the new middle class. That now the middle class, why we are saying the new middle class in the European state, when we are talking about the French Revolution. The socially and politically, a landed aristocracy was the dominant class on the continent. In Europe, basically, in their society, the aristocratic people were having their dominant power, their autocratic power on the other society member. The member of this class were joined, they were united by a common way of life that cut across regional division. They owned estate in the countryside and also townhouses. They spoke French. So these people spoke French. The people who spoke French, they belong to the aristocratic people category, and they were having their you can say autocratic rules and the power on the other community people, and they spoke French for the purpose of diplomacy and in high society. Whenever they are the people of the middle class, of the aristocratic background, they were in high society, they speak their talks in French language because they were very diplomatic. According to the situation, they changed their rules and regulations. Their families were, however, numerically a small group. The majority of the population was made up of the peasantry. In Europe, during the time of French Revolution, the other state of Europe, mainly the majority of the people belong to the peasantry group. To the west, the bulk of land was farmed by the tenants and small owners, while in eastern and the central Europe, the pattern of land holding was characterized by the estate which were cultivated by serfs. So this is that when you are doing revision, then you have to come through with the meaning of these certain words also. What is tenants? What are serfs? So because if the meaning will not be clear, then how whatever will be asked, then how you will able to give the answer. So tenants and the serfs also you have to come up with their meaning. Serfs means agricultural labor, okay, who work on the agriculture field, but they are not farmer, they are the labor, they do the labor work in the agricultural field. So it is all about the aristocratic people, they are having their dominant power in European state. Now when we say nationalism, so what did liberal nationalism stand for? The new word we study in the chapter, liberal nationalism. That ideas of national unity in early 19th century Europe were closely allied to the ideology of liberalism. The term liberalism derives from the Latin word root, liber, meaning free. For the new middle classes, liberalism stood for freedom. So when we say that in Europe, the word liberal nationalism stands for different way by the different community people of the society people. The middle class people take the liberalism in a different way. The higher class people take the meaning of liberalism in a different way. But as far as the middle class people, they took it as a freedom for the individual and equality of before law. That the middle class people take the liberal nationalism as a freedom and equality before the law. Politically, it emphasized on the concept of government by consent. Since the French Revolution, liberalism had stood for representative government through. Since the French Revolution, liberalism had stood for the end of autocratic rule and clerical privileges, a constitution and representative government through the parliament. 19th century liberals also stressed the inviolability of private property. That during the French Revolution, this liberalism stood up with the end of autocratic rule and all the privilege which was given on the birth of the people, and they demanded the constitutional representative government which can be equal for each and every citizen of the European state. Now when we continue the topic, then we come to know equality before the law did not necessarily stand for the universal suffrage. So now again, when you read the book, then only you will be able to come up and to arrange the meaning of these words. That when equality before the law did not necessarily stand for universal suffrage. What is universal suffrage? That the people who are up to the age of 18, either male or female, they are having the right to give their vote. So even that the liberal introduced the representative government in the form of constituent assembly, the universal suffrage right wasn't given to the people. So it was another demand of the liberal nationalism. Now suffrage, the right to vote. So here the definition which is given to the boxes, you have to learn them, understand them, because they can also be framed as a question. So next, a new conservatism after 1815. What is a new conservatism? It is also very important, because under it we are going to study the Napoleon strategic administrative changes and the reformation in European state. So it is also important. So such type of revision only a student can be able when he or she will open the book plus notebooks. Only then. Otherwise, ma'am, this is not done in the form of question. We don't know this question because you are not habitual to open the books at your home. This happen not only this time but forever in your life if you will not habitual to open your book and read yourself. Remember, now the new conservatism after 1815, that following the defeat of Napoleon in 1815. When was Napoleon defeated? He was defeated in the year of 1815. European governments were driven by a spirit of conservatism. Now when Napoleon defeated in the Waterloo war, then the European government decided that they will develop the spirit of conservatism. Conservatives, what is conservatism? That under it, conservatives believe that established traditional institution of state and society like the monarchy, the church, social hierarchies, property and the family should be preserved. That these conservative follower wanted that there should be a rule and the government which will continue the spirit of monarchy system, the church system, and there should be a social hierarchy, segregation of the people on the basis of their economic status, and the property and the family should be preserved on the basis of their economical background. Most conservatives, however, did not propose a return to the society of pre-revolutionary days. Rather, they realized from the changes initiated by Napoleon that modernization could in fact strengthen the traditional institution like the monarchy. It could make state power more effective and strong. Modern army and serfdom. Now what is serfdom? Serfdom could strengthen the autocratic monarchy of Europe. In 1815, representative of the European powers. Who were the representative of European powers in 1815? Britain, Russia, Prussia and Austria, who had collectively defeated Napoleon. Britain, Russia, Prussia and Austria, they collectively took a war and they defeated Napoleon, met at Vienna to draw up a settlement for Europe. The Congress was hosted by the Austrian Chancellor Duke Metternich, and the delegates drew up the Treaty of Vienna of 1815. So now that what is all about Treaty of Vienna 1815. So now you have to read by your own. This is the way that you have to go through the different headings. The Treaty of Vienna, that under it the main points, the object of doing most of the changes that had come about in Europe during the Napoleonic War. The Bourbon dynasty, which had been deposed during the French Revolution, was restored to power. Now under the Treaty of Vienna 1815, the representative of the government, they wanted the re-establishment of the monarchy system. So again the conservative demanded the restoration of monarchy system in France after the defeat of Napoleon. So in this way there are certain significant points included in the Treaty of Vienna of 1815. You have to go through it. Now revolutionaries figure, that when we say the rise of nationalism in Europe, who were the people who are famous today, even today, as a revolutionary figure in the history of Europe. During the years of following 1815, the fear of repression drove many liberal nationalists underground. Secret societies sprang up in many European states to train revolutionary and spread their idea. To be revolutionary at this time meant a commitment to oppose monarchical forms that had been established after the Vienna Congress. That now after 1815, the people who were charged up, who were in the favor of nationalism, they and who were against the conservative regime or Vienna Treaties condition, they started to make their secret clubs to spread the idea of nationalism among the people and to fight for liberty and freedom, because they want that there should be a liberty and democratic regime for all the people. Most of these revolutionary also saw the creation of nation states as a necessary part of this struggle for freedom. So the new thing which when you read this line, you come to know the new thing, then creation of nation states. When you read this whole line, the meaning of creation of nation states immediately or naturally come to in your mind. It means the nations which are different in their you can say language, tradition, but still they are having the common feeling of nation states. They are having the feeling of nationalism. So this is the meaning of nation states. So these revolutionary figures come up with the idea that there should be the feeling of nation states if we want the democratic regime in European state. So one such individual was the Italian revolutionary Giuseppe Mazzini, born in Genoa in 1807. He became a member of the secret society of the Carbonari. As a young man of 24, he was sent into exile in 1831 for attempting a revolution in Liguria. He was punished. He has threatened. He has thrown out from his motherland as a case of that he was spreading the feeling of nationalism, and that's why he has exiled in 1831 for attempting revolution in Liguria. He subsequently founded two more underground societies. First, Young Italy in Marseilles, and then Young Europe in Bern, whose members were like-minded young men from Poland, France, Italy, and the German state. Mazzini believed that God had intended nations to be the natural units of mankind. Who has quoted the statement, God had intended nation to be the natural units of mankind? This quotation has given by the Giuseppe Mazzini. So Italy could not continue to be a patchwork of small states and kingdom. It had to be forged into single unified republic within a wider alliance of nations. This unification alone could be basis of Italian liberty. Following his model, secret societies were set up in Germany, France, Switzerland, and Poland. So this is all about Giuseppe Mazzini, that how he has come up as a revolutionary figure, what was his idea, how he spread the idea among the minded and literate people to unite them with the feeling of nation states in the favor of revolution or nationalism in European state. So in this manner you have to revise the syllabus for your term 1 examination. Now in the continue the age of revolution, it is also important, 1830 and 1848. Why the year from 1830 and 1848 known as the age of revolution in European history? So you have to read. Now the another important, the romantic imagination and national feeling, that how the cultural movement spread the feeling of nationalism, how the culture played an important role to spread the feeling of nationalism in European state. Culture included the folk song, stories, dance, and playwright, and poems, and so many things, paintings. So how these creative people, the artistic people, through the message of nationalism in European state. So you have to read this also for the revision purpose. Now there are so many things. Then the 1848, very important, the revolution of the liberals. What is all about it? And the important things which has given in the boxes. This is also I want to clear you that each and everything you have to go through with the content. How were liberty and equality for women to be defined? What is all about the feminist? What is feminist movement? How the women lagging behind in the you can say in a European state during the revolution. So these things you have to revise now. Then you have to read the making of Germany and Italy, as I have explained in a very broad manner when I started the chapter. That's I just once again I reminding you that you have how you have to go up to the revision. Then Italy unified, the strange case of Britain. Why it is known as a strange? When we are saying unifying the European state, we are studying Italy unified. Now why the strange case of Britain? Why it is known as a strange case? So we have discussed it earlier also. Then visualizing the nation, how the different allegories is used in the form of statue. Germania became a allegory to the German nation, and its different attire represents Germania wears a crown of oak leaves, as the German oak stands for heroism. So here the different how the allegory attract the people with the idea of nationalism. So every walk of way, artist, philosopher, common people, peasants, farmers, factory and mill workers, women and painter, folk songwriter, all section of the society, how they significantly participate to visualize the nation into a nation state and to get the success in their, you can say, in their politically nationalism. Now the meanings of the symbol important, that in the portrait or in the allegory of Germania, these things was mentioned in its figure. It is having the broken chain. The meaning of broken chain, that being freed, that now the female also wanted, or the motherland wants to get rid of any autocratic rule. Now breastplate with eagle. So breastplate with eagle shows symbol of the German Empire. It means strength. Crown of oak leaves in the portrait of Germania, it shows heroism. It stands for heroism. Sword, readiness to fight. That if anybody can take common people or every citizen's right, or just humiliate them as they were superior, then they are ready to fight for their rights. Now olive branch around the sword, that around the sword you can see the picture. Around the sword there is a olive branches. These are olive branches. It represent willingness to make peace. These olive branches are the symbol that they are ready to make peace, establish peace. Now black, red and gold tricolor, you can see the flag is black, gold, okay, and red tricolor flag. It represents flag of the liberal nationalist, liberal, not conservative, liberal, who are in the favor of common people, dignity, right and mutual respect. In 1848, banned by the dukes of the German state, but it was banned by the German states. Now rays of the rising sun, you can see these are the rays, these are the rays of the rising sun. Beginning of a new era. These rays, the sun is a symbol of a new morning, new hope. So sun rays are the symbol of a new era, the era of democratic regime, the era of where every single citizen is equal to the another one. This is the different you can say symbols which are having the different meanings. So in this way, you all of you prepared yourself for a revision of all stream of SST for your term 1 examination. And another important thing, that the homework which I will give you on these revision video, you have to do it and you have to submit it. There is no need to ask, ma'am, is there need to do the homework of revision? Yes, there is a need. That's why I am giving you to practice again for the same chapters. So you have to submit, even you have to do the revision homework in your notebook and submit it on a proper date. All the best for your term 1 examination. Take care. Goodbye.